Sawadee Krap and welcome to another episode here for the Funkit Pod. It's Friday and you know what it means. Media Cast, Media Friday. We're talking all things about media, technology and so on. You know the deal, so let's just get down to business right away. And before we start with all the serious stuff, maybe that's all the serious. I want to start with the Olympics. Have you been watching the Olympics? Yeah, me neither. It's really hard to watch the Olympics. Who would have thought that in 2021, streaming everywhere, Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever, like video on demand, right? Everywhere. It's a fucking pain in the ass. I have to bleep that. It's a freaking pain in the ass to get a decent stream for the Olympics. Like, what in the world? Like, for example, I'm in Thailand and the Thai stream, if I want to watch it on a TV, okay. But who watches TV? Who even has a TV? I have a TV there, but I haven't even plugged it in, I think. So who still uses TVs, right? No one. So if you want to stream it, if you go to the TV sites that stream it, first of all, not all TV sites stream it. Then there are some sites that stream it. Here in Thailand, for example, a mobile phone provider, AIS, is streaming it. You go to the AIS page, then of course, the quality is like, I have to borrow that comment from the YouTube section on every other bad quality video. Did you record it with a potato? It looks like it, right? So the quality is so low, it's ridiculous. Like, this podcast video has higher quality than what those companies, in this case here, the telco company, what they are providing in their streams. Of course, they want you to subscribe, then you get high quality streams. Then the commentary here is a completely different issue. Commentary in Thai, I don't know what Thai people are usually so joyous and like friendly and happy and so on. But in sports commentary, this must be the lamest commentary I've ever heard. Like, I love Spanish commentary, obviously. German commentary, I'm German, right? German commentary is already pretty lame. Thai commentary is lamer. It's so annoying. So I'm trying to find an English stream, a German stream, but since I'm in Thailand, I cannot watch the German channels because, I mean, officially I cannot watch the German channels because the content is only for people in Germany. I have two words for you. That's a wrestling reference. What about people who want to watch German content, for example? Maybe there might be Germans abroad who would like to watch it, and they did pay for you when you lived in Germany, your TV channel. You also maybe people who live abroad who want to learn German. How about you just help those people out? That's basically that also goes for all the others. I mean, the US channels, they limit or they block you from watching US content. So the UK, the same. You all want us to be like together, globalization and so on. But in content distribution, there's no globalization. You're all greedy. So, I mean, of course, there are ways to watch it. And yeah, I watched some of the Olympics. It was boring anyways. But why is it so hard? Like, seriously, why is it so hard? Like, just because you're greedy? Seriously, annoying. In 2021, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics should not be that hard to watch. And if it's free on TV, why not make it free online? Old school mentality, I guess. So that really annoyed me. It's a pain in the, you know what. So it's, oh my God, I'm getting already riled up in the beginning of this podcast. If you have a better experience when it comes to watching the Olympics, please do let me know. All right, let's move on from the Olympics. Let's talk about serious stuff. Let's talk about money. And I find this, and that's why I smile a little bit, I find this a little bit funny, just a little, not too funny for the people involved, but I mean, it's going to bounce back anyway. So Robinhood, the trading app, totally unbiased trading app, had an IPO like a few weeks back, right? And so now it started trading and the stock dropped by 8% on the first day of trading. Haha, sorry. And now I hear pundits saying like, why? Why did the Robinhood stock drop? on the first day of trading. So I'm not a financial expert, but I'm not surprised. I wanna quote Nate Diaz right now, MMA reference, MMA Monday coming on Monday. I'm not surprised that the Robinhood stock dropped in the beginning. Ever since, and I don't follow it too closely, but ever since I follow IPOs and stocks and stock markets loosely, this happens all the time. Like I remember back then, the first time I actually started following this was, I don't know how old I was. I was like maybe in my late teens, early 20s, I'm not sure. It was in Germany, and the biggest telecommunications provider in Germany, T-Mobile, you might know it by now because they're everywhere by now. They went public, and it was like they call it like the public or the people's share. That's what they call it, the people's share, because everyone can be part of it and can buy it and so on. And then once they actually started being traded, like it went downhill really fast, like in the first few days. And I remember people being like all freaked out, like, "What? Why is this happening?" Well, because people are gonna cash in. They buy it before the initial offerings. Is this how you say it in English? They buy it before, and then once it officially starts trading, everyone's gonna try to cash in. Like, oh, let's go out here. So I just assume this would happen for every share that's going to be pumped and hyped and so on in Robinhood. Certainly, like thanks to AMC and so on, everybody knows Robinhood by now. So I am not surprised, but maybe that's just me trying to make things too easy. And all the pundits that are saying like that's a phenomenon, that's the first time that it's happened and it should not have happened. Well, maybe they're all right and I just don't understand the financial market. So please feel free to let me know. I would also like to have someone with a financial background here on the podcast. So if you have serious financial background, not just like some, I want to promote my book or blog or whatever, I wrote a Medium post about financial stuff, that would be nice. All right, so I'm not surprised. Maybe you lost something. I mean, as long as you don't cash in, you don't lose it. But you know what I'm saying. So if you lost from the Robinhood drop, let me know what happened and how you feel. Tell me how you really feel about Robinhood. Okay, speaking of things that are dropping, Pinterest shares also dropped because Pinterest once again cannot report any user growth. I can't just keep quoting Nate Diaz, and right now, if you don't know Nate Diaz, Google Nate Diaz. First quote will be, "I'm not surprised." Expletive thing, something. So Pinterest has always been weird to me. I do understand who uses it. I'm not. I mean, I'm on there, but I'm not active. I do understand people using it. I think Stat said that it's like 70, 80%, whatever, female users. Which could then try to push the cliche further that like women are more visual than men and so on. But no matter who uses it, I always wondered, like, what makes you come back? Like, I can see Pinterest being cool, interesting, if you think, okay, I'm gonna renovate my house, I need some inspiration. Go to Pinterest, find some inspiration. Cool. But you're not gonna do this all the time. So that I'm gonna get married, I want some inspiration. I'm not. I'm just saying this would be an example where I understand why you would use Pinterest. So I don't see how they are attracting more and more users, or how they would do this, or why would I sign up there, and why would I come back to Pinterest like frequently, unless I really need it. Also, I'm still not. I mean, I don't use Pinterest that much, so I don't really know how they monetize. But yeah, so I'm also not that surprised that that the user growth isn't happening for Pinterest right now. Also, Pinterest, I just think for the current generation, and man, it hurts that I'm not part of this like booming generation anymore. So the Gen Z, right? And now I sound like an old person. Gen Z, no, but research shows, and if you're working with Gen Z, then you know that, or if you are Gen Z, you know that too. Attention span is, what is attention span, right? And that's not a knock on Gen Z. It's just the development, the technological development and media development. You have 7,585 tabs open. You do this, you do that, you do that. Pinterest is like, it's too slow, I think. that's just me like spitballing right now while I'm recording. So I didn't prepare this part of the Pinterest rant. But I just think Pinterest is too slow. Like there's not much interaction happening. There's no TikTok style video. There's no sliding up and down. Is that right? So I just think that doesn't capture Gen Z anymore. Sorry, Pinterest. I think you could turn it around. I think you could make some adjustments to Pinterest and then probably get the attention of Gen Z again, and maybe even, but I mean, you don't want to look like you're trying to copy TikTok, for example, or IG Reels or whatever. You don't want to just copy this. You don't want to be in Snapchat. I mean, so IG copied Snapchat first. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that's tough, but I think there's a way around. Yeah, actually, while I'm recording and thinking, I think there's a good way around. Pinterest, if you're interested, get in touch. funkitpod@gmail.com. Okay, but from negative to positive, Microsoft. Okay, how do I positive Microsoft? Is he joking? No, he's not Microsoft, but it's positive for a company, for Oyo. And if you're in the hotel business or in like travel business, or if you just travel a lot, you might have heard of Oyo before. It's from India, but it's like everywhere by now. And they've been in the news, like at least because I follow the hotel business a little bit closer. So they are in the news quite a bit. They have been in the news like the last year, I believe. Lots of hotels complained about Oyo, that like how they treat their partners and so on. It's not that great. And then Oyo was like, okay, we're gonna change everything, relaunch, but it's changing things. And then the pandemic hit, and so they didn't change much. But they laid off like thousands of people, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, all that down the water, down the bridge, drain. I'm not sure how the saying goes. Microsoft is in talks to back Oyo. And well, I understand that Microsoft, of course, wants to spread their wings and invest in different things. But since Microsoft has been like an advocate for user rights over the past few months or so, like they're always hating on Apple, like, hey, Apple sucks, we are the nice ones. And now you back a company that's in the news for not being nice. By the way, also in the news for not being nice is Blizzard Entertainment right now. I didn't even have this in my notes. I just saw it like in passing while I was walking, I think, to a supermarket. Only place I can walk right now because, hey, lockdown. So that at Blizzard, I think it was Blizzard, right? The employees walked out because apparently there's lots of sexism going on. I didn't read into it, I'm sorry, because I was walking from the supermarket, but I just saw the pictures of demonstrations like women's voices matter, and that's of course true. So apparently there's an issue at Blizzard. Now that we talked about Blizzard games, let's talk about another game developer. Today we got smooth transitions again. I'm proud of myself already. So another game development company, Horizon Blockchain Games. You can already guess from the name of the company what they're doing. They raised, and now I have to look at my notes, $4.5 million for its NFT trading card game and wallet. And if you don't know Horizon Blockchain Games, Google it. A, it's cool that they're using the blockchain. B, it was a bit of a letdown to understand what it's a trading card game. So I understand that this is probably the easiest form of implementing the blockchain for a game. But it's a bit of a letdown. But maybe I've never been into like trading cards, into NBA trading cards, which could actually also, of course, be a blockchain NFT thing. Actually, it is already. But I've never been into like Magic the Gathering, like you collect more cards and then your character evolves or whatever. Never really been into that. But so now I'm just talking out of my behind. I assume that's similar from what I read, so I tried to read through it, but I lost interest in the game, not in the technology. The technology is awesome. I just lost interest in the game. So they have two things that they do. They have like a wallet apparently, and then they have like this game. It's still kind of exciting to see whether or not this is going to take off, of course. And they also, as far as I understand, they rebranded a little because what they also offer is like, you don't have to be a blockchain specialist to play the game, obviously. So they want to take all of those technical things out of your hand, and rather than just have you focus on playing the game and then the rest just happens in the background. So it's going to be interesting to see if this takes off, if people are going to like it, if there will be an audience for it, if there will be like a mainstream audience that is using the blockchain and then going to connect their wallets to the game and so on. It will be interesting to see, I think. So that's definitely something cool to follow up, and I will make sure to follow up also here on the podcast talking about this. Yes. I think that's it. I also have, by the way, for one of my classes, I have an NFT blockchain talk planned. So after this happened, because I don't want to spoil it on the podcast, after this happened, I'm going to talk about this as well, because I'm really excited about this. This should be cool. Okay, but now let's move away from the blockchain. And you can see me stalling or hear me stalling because I want to have another smooth transition from blockchain to Apple. There is none. Let's talk about Apple. Well, we talked about numbers before and money, and Apple, of course, is making money. I've just watched on Netflix, I watched the third season of How to Sell Drugs Online Fast. It's a German show, but it's dubbed in English, so it's if you're interested, it's kind of fun. And not going to talk about the story, but there was one insult. One guy said, like, you want to be a CEO? But you're not a real CEO. You're not like Steve Jobs. You're like Tim Cook. It's supposed to be an insult. And then that guy that got insulted got back at the guy insulting him. Well, Apple is doing better than ever under Tim Cook in terms of numbers. And yeah, this continues. This terms of numbers things. That was my cat. Spooky, can you stop scratching on my mic stand? Okay. Spooky. Okay. So Apple is doing apparently better in regards to numbers than before or ever before, making lots of money. They had just had an earnings call, and a few things that I remember were just that the iPhone 12 is apparently, the sales are through the roof. It's a pandemic, no one has money, but we're all buying iPhone 12s. Interesting, right? That's the biggest takeaway I had actually from this earnings call, to be honest. They keep showing off with like more numbers and this is cool and that is cool and we're awesome with everything. So apparently Apple is doing quite well right now, even in the pandemic where again no one is supposed to have money apparently because everything sucks, but we're still buying Apple products. Okay, now something very interesting, and you gotta so we're in class, I'm like, take notes. So what's happening right now in the EU is rather interesting because this could be an indicator of what's going to happen also in other areas of the world. So the EU, as always, is like the area. Spooky, I'm going to kick you out if you keep doing this. My cat down here at the mic stand again. Come here. Let the people, for those people watching, you can see like one of my cats right now, Spooky, she's scratching the mic stand the whole time right now. You want to be famous? For people listening, listen. So that was Spooky. Yeah, you get food in a second, okay? All right, so let's finish this. So in the EU tries to be like the privacy, very protective of users' privacy, right? But we have seen this over years, decades actually, all the time when it comes to user privacy. The EU is usually at the front, like trying to protect the users, suing Google, suing whatever. Okay, so now they have another policy in place that will force AI software to comply to lots of what looks to me like common sense things, like the data that AI collects needs to be like verified and cannot be collected for just any reason, needs to like be reasonable, related to the cause, and so on. Maybe I should make a video on like the details there. Anyway, so there are now those policies in place that would protect the user's privacy, but now, and it's called Artificial Intelligence Act. I just saw it in my notes. So if this would go into effect, that would offer European citizens the strictest, most comprehensive protections against predatory AI systems. This is what I wrote down. So now, here's the deal. Now there's a think tank in the US that warns against it, like, hey, the think tank, if you use this policy and make it a law, then this could have negative impacts on the people, on the economy, on everything. So think about it. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Like lots of warnings from this. And on the website, it says like, what's it called in English? The non-partisan think tank. It's actually like if non-partisan means like not towards one party, then it might even be true, like political party. But if you look at who's in the think tank, who's in the board of the think tank, it's Google, it's Microsoft, it's like, I don't know, what's the semiconductor company, I forgot the name, microchips company, like it's big tech. Every big tech company has a person on the board of the think tank that is warning from the EU law to protect the users. And yes, even Microsoft was like, oh, Apple, you take too much information from your user. It's us, Microsoft, we are the good guys. F you, Microsoft. You're also in the think tank trying to F with the EU regulations right there. Yeah, Microsoft, you're not the good people. You're faking to be good people. Actually, Apple is trying to fake too, because Apple is hating on Google the whole time. Apple, you're also not the good people. Google obviously has stopped being good people a long time ago. Okay, so I found this quite interesting, to be honest. What I also find interesting is that on Twitter, @RealSexyCyborg, you might, if you're into tech, you might know Naomi Wu, who's very outspoken about everything she does. It's like a maker, like a maker in a maker space, kind of like an icon in the maker space by now, I believe. She did the world's first NFT nude 3D body scan. So she had a 3D body scan, a nude 3D body scan of her body, and now selling off the NFT for that. Yeah. Curious to see what comes of that. I'm sure she's going to talk about it on Twitter. So if you haven't yet if you're interested, follow either #NFT or the account by Naomi @RealSexyCyborg. Think of her what you want, like sometimes a bit controversial and so on, but always trying to do some cutting edge new things, just like this as well. It took a while. I thought this would have happened faster. It took a while for NFT nudes to become, maybe it's already happening, but to become a mainstream thing now. So that had to happen, right? Of course, it had to happen. Okay, I have 3 more things that I want to quickly talk about before we leave here this week. And then I'm announcing already what's going to happen next week. Puts the pressure on me, but also hopefully teases and convinces you to tune in next week. So first of all, during the pandemic, everything is boring. I signed up for Disney Plus. Yeah, eventually. It's lame. Oh my God, I hate Disney. I already canceled. I mean, I paid for a year up front, right? But I already canceled. Maybe it's because here in Thailand it's on Hotstar and it's not the Disney Plus. And I think there are different layers of Disney Plus if I'm right. But here in Thailand, I think we only have one. And so I just had this one. And a third of the shows are also on Netflix. I mean, it's cheaper than Netflix, so fair enough. But so a third of the shows, I believe, are also on Netflix, at least that I see here on the Hotstar Disney Plus collaboration call. And then the rest is just, I mean, yeah, if you're really into Avengers, then maybe it's cool. But besides that, I'm disappointed. I don't know. I don't know what did I expect from Disney Plus, but I'm not enjoying it, to be honest. I think I used it the day that I signed up for it, and haven't used it since. I mean, I went to the homepage. I'm like, what do I watch? Star Wars again, but it's the only thing. So Disney Plus, lame for me. Okay, I read a cool article, and that's one article I want to talk about. It's the only article I'm going to talk about today that I read. And it was on Quartz. Did I pronounce it correctly? Quartz, German Quartz. And they had an article, and I'm like, oh, wow, yes, I believe it. They said the future of social media looks a lot like QVC. For the Gen Z, you don't know QVC. QVC was like a tailor shopping channel, a very famous tailor shopping channel. So 24/7, you switch on the channel on TV and they would sell stuff like, hey, if you buy this now, you get one free and so on. And they said the future of social media looks like that. And yes, I read the headline. I'm like, oh my God, that's true. Yeah, just because everyone is selling. So okay, it's a podcast. Everyone is selling shit right now. It's so annoying. Stop it. I don't follow you because you're selling stuff. In fact, it's a turnoff. And that's not enough, right? Okay, everyone's an influencer right now. You have 2,000 followers. I'm here, this t-shirt from whatever. Wanna be influencer. Nice, great. Oh, annoying. But it gets even worse. The live feature. Especially, I'm not sure how it's back home right now. Quartz was talking about live stream shopping in China. It's a big in China. Sorry, it's a big part in China already. So people go live in social media. I'm assuming it also works on WeChat and whatever. So you go live and then you sell things live. Like, hey, this is this. Here, look at this. Here too, in Thailand too. So I would simply say Southeast Asia, just the same. Right now, especially during the pandemic, on Facebook, Instagram, everybody and their grandma going live daily, and selling secondhand clothes, secondhand bags, whatever. It's annoying. Then, even to top it off, we have shopping, So shopping applications here in Thailand, there are two major shopping applications. So we're not using Amazon, because of the import tax and whatnot. So Amazon isn't here, but we have similar things. So one is Lazada, the other one is Shopee. Those are two major players in Southeast Asia, I believe, as well. So those shopping apps, those e-commerce powerhouses, they have the option for sellers, so I could sign up to be a seller, you can sign up to be a seller, to go live on their platform. And if you have the app and you don't change the settings, then you get a push notification when there are live sales on Shopee or Lazada. It's like live. It's so freaking annoying. That's the main reason why I uninstalled Shopee and Lazada. Yes, Shopee and Lazada, that's why I kicked you off. Also, live stream sales on social media are a big thing, apparently all over Asia, because Quartz is saying it's in China. I can verify it's here. Let me know how it's back home in Europe or over there in the US, if that's also a big thing that people go live and just, hey, look at this, sell this, and so on. Curious to hear if that's the same case, because it really pisses me off. And that's a big reason why I use social media less at those live sessions, because they're just super annoying. All right. I had to get this off my chest. Thank you for listening. Last thing that I want to talk about today is Simone Biles, because we talk a lot about actually one more thing after this. Sorry. So Simone Biles is one thing, because we talk a lot about mental health here on the podcast and how media covers mental health. We talk a lot about Naomi Osaka, who's out already of the Olympics. I think lost in the third round, 6-1-6, 4-6 or 4-6-1-6 or something. I hope she's getting better. I hope she's doing well. And same for Simone Biles. So Simone Biles didn't do well in one of her performances, and then afterwards she's like, I'm out, I can't handle it right now, and so on. So now there are several things that I think about here. Yes, you can't just judge anyone because you're not that person. So who knows what's happening in her mind? I also see the other side when people saying she's a pro athlete, people are looking to her. She has this one chance, and if she wouldn't have taken it, someone else could have gone there. Okay, I understand that too. But again, in mental health, you're just not in that person, right? Spooky, what's up? My cat here agrees with me on mental health. It's very difficult. And I have one more piece of information that I just saw yesterday on Joe Rogan. Thanks, Joe Rogan. But so I do see both sides of the coin. What I'm not a big fan of is celebrating Simone Biles now, like, you go girl, because it puts her more in the spotlight. Maybe right now, Hey, my cat just jumped up the wardrobe. Okay, so maybe right now is a good time to let her be. If someone is stressed and can't handle it and doesn't feel like being able to handle the stress, let him be. Like, even if you're like, yeah, you go girl, ooh, yeah, wokeness, warriors, let's praise Simone Biles. That's also not good for her because you're shining more spotlight on her. She can step into the spotlight when she's ready. That's just my opinion. I would say leave her alone for now. Let her just be. And then whenever she's ready, she can come out and say what actually happened. So this piece of information that I heard on Joe Rogan yesterday was like that apparently she suffers from HDHD and was taking medicine for HDHD also during the last Olympics already. And she got like an exemption to use this medicine. But in Japan, it's not allowed. So she had to go off the medicine. And if you take this medicine for years, it's obviously hard to cope once you're just like off like this. Now, what I would say is they should have known that, of course, and they should have prepared for that, maybe. But then again, I'm not her and I don't know what's happening with her body, with her mind, and so on. So overall, again, I'm not mad at Simone Biles, obviously, because she has to do what she has to do. I'm mad at the media coverage once again. Just like with Naomi Osaka, now with Simone Biles, not the same thing, but just the media again shows its ugly face. And so do the social justice warriors because they're jumping on it and they're like, yeah, let's celebrate her, let's put them on the spotlight just so they can show that they're a good people. And that's just as bad as the people criticizing her because you're also pushing her into the spotlight that she doesn't need and want right now. Me, by talking about it, same thing actually, right? So I'm stopping it right here. But it's interesting to talk about, again, from a media point of view. What do you think? How is the media coverage on this? Do you want to see the media like digging up all the information, like me telling you that she had ADHD, or do you say like, hey, that's her thing. No one needs to know that. Let's just let her do what she needs to do. So shout out in the comments, social media @funkitpod, email funkitpod@gmail.com. I'm serious. I would like to have like a serious discussion about this. No insults or anything. If you insult anyone, you get banned. Okay. Last thing, yesterday, and I know that this is not MMA Monday, so more on this on Monday, but yesterday there was a big MMA fight here in Asia, in Singapore, and a Burmese fighter from Myanmar, Aung Lan Sang, who lost his 2 world titles, so former world champion, he lost his 2 world titles in his last 2 fights, now bounced back against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but actually someone who likes to strike a lot, Leandro Araides. And Aung Lan Sang went out there like old school retro Aung Lan Sang, just walking right through Leandro Araides basically and knocking him out in the first round. That's not what I actually want to highlight here because it's not the MMA Monday. But afterwards, he was on the mic, got interviewed just like winners always do, and then he said, I also want to take this moment for a second just to pray for my home country, pray for Myanmar. It's not easy for them right now. There are many things happening right now. There is the military in charge and so on. It's a difficult time. So what's happening in Myanmar, check it out and praying for Myanmar. He could have said a little bit more, maybe, but I'm already very happy that an athlete actually uses his stage for something important like this. Now, I was really curious to see whether or not he would do that. Because he doesn't live in Myanmar anymore. He lives in the States, of course. He trains at Stanford MMA. But he uses his stage to then try to shine at least some kind of light towards Myanmar, which I think is a good thing. And having that said, I want you to do one thing. Check out #what's happening in Myanmar because it's still not getting any better. All right. That's it for now. Next week, I told you I'm going to leave a teaser here. We're going to talk more about Web3 and the metaverse. Yeah, I realized those buzzwords are now taking off on Twitter, so I realized we should also talk about this here. So next week, Web3 and the metaverse coming to the Funkit Pod. Maybe no, the Funkit Pod is coming to Web3 and the metaverse, I think. All right, that's it for now. That's it for this week. Thanks as always for joining. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this podcast video. Add funkitpod on social media if you want to say something via email, funkitpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to always stay safe, take care, and I'll see and talk to you next time. Sawadee ka. spooky, that was really difficult with you right now?